Ignoring public concerns can make you lose your job. Yes, Roblox is facing one of the biggest public backlashes in its history. A Change.org petition demanding the resignation of CEO David Baszucki has exploded, past 100,000 signatures in just days, and the accusations behind it are serious. Child safety features, ignored predator reports, and whistleblowers punished instead of protected. Since August 9, this petition has been rapidly gaining momentum, fueled by parents, players, and advocates who say Roblox leadership has repeatedly failed to protect its young community. Petitioners argue that predators were left active on the platform for weeks even after being reported, while innocent users were unfairly banned by automated systems. Critics accuse Roblox of silencing community members who spoke up instead of fixing the problems. And yet, despite the storm of criticism, Roblox has issued no direct response, while Baszucki himself has remained silent. Today, we are breaking down what this petition says, why so many people are rallying behind it, and what it could mean for Roblox's future. One of the biggest driving forces behind this petition is Roblox's ongoing child safety controversy. For years, critics have warned that Roblox doesn't have strict age verification, despite the fact that most of its 110 million daily users are children. Many of them are under the age of 13. That gap has created opportunity for predators to slip through, and in some cases, for disturbing content to saturate inside the platform. Recent lawsuits and investigations point to shocking examples. Games with names like Escape to Epstein Island and Diddy Party have appeared on Roblox, alongside experiences that simulate bathrooms or private rooms, places where investigators say sexual or exploitative themes were not only pleasant but openly accessible. Louisiana's Attorney General even went as far as accusing Roblox of providing the perfect place for pedophiles, arguing that the company prioritized growth, profit, over the safety of its youngest players. The petition also reflects what parents and community members have been saying for years. Roblox's moderation is often far too slow. Critics note that predators flagged to moderators sometimes remained active for weeks before being removed, time that could put countless children at risk, combined with automated filters that sometimes punish innocent players, while your threats remain untouched. It has created an atmosphere where many families say they simply don't feel safe letting their kids play, and the legal pressure is only growing. Multiple lawsuits across different states accuse Roblox of enabling environments where exploitation can occur. In one Louisiana case, prosecutors even pointed to a suspect who used voice alerting software to impersonate a teenage girl in Roblox chats. A chilling reminder of how predators adapt when safeguards are weak. With so many younger users online every day, lawmakers and child safety advocates are calling for Roblox to move faster and to adopt stronger verification tools and content moderation systems before more harm is done. One of the most explosive flashpoints in this entire debate is the case of Slap, a YouTuber with more than 800 subscribers who describes himself as a predator hunter. Slap live-streamed stingy-style confrontations on Roblox, often posing as a child to lure in suspected groomers and then exposing them on his channel. Some of these videos even contributed to real-world arrests, but Roblox saw things very differently. The company sent him a cease and desist letter, accusing him of breaking platform rules, specifically simulated child endangerment, and encouraging users to move conversations off the platform. Soon after, Slap's Roblox accounts were permanently deleted. Slap, whose real name is Dana, pushed back hard. He argued that his only goal was to protect kids, where Roblox had failed. According to him, the evidence he gathered was routinely brushed off by Roblox's moderation teams with genetic replies, like block the user, until media coverage forced the company to act. He credits himself with helping law enforcement track down at least 6 predators. Tight Roblox evidence. He says the platform wasn't taking the problem serious until outside pressure forced its hand. The ban instantly divided the community. Many players and parents argued that Roblox had punished a wrong person. As one critic put it, they banned the guy trying to keep kids safe, but the predators get to stick around until the community makes noise about it. Hashtags like Free Shillap, Boycott Roblox trended across social media, with other creators joining in to question why vigilantes were being silenced while the bigger safety issues remain. Roblox, however, defends its decision. The company argues that vigilante stings, no matter how well-intentioned, create risks of their own, including false accusations, harassment, and possible harm to innocent players. That's why they say enforcement must be left to Roblox's moderation system and to law enforcement agencies. But critics counter that this logic doesn't hold water. If the company's own systems are failing, and that banning Slap highlights Roblox's unwillingness to take accountability for its ongoing safety crisis. After the backlash over Slap's ban, Roblox finally spoke up. In a blog post from the company's chief safety officer, Matt Kaufman, Roblox defended its decision and laid out why vigilante tactics are, in their view, too dangerous to allow. Kaufman explained that even well-intentioned players who pose as predator hunters often mimic the very behaviors they are trying to expose by impersonating minors and lowering users into off-platform chats. Roblox argued these vigilantes were essentially reenacting the same tactics predators use. According to Kaufman, that was unacceptable, and it forced the company's hand in suspending those accounts. Roblox framed the issue as one of policy and safety. The company said it can't make exceptions, even for creators who claim to be protecting kids, because actions like simulated grooming, urging players to move to Discord or other platforms, or sharing explicit messages all violate the terms of use. Roblox's statement called these actions both unacceptable and unsafe, insisting they risk creating more harm than good. Instead, Roblox urges its community to use official reporting channels. The company highlighted that these built-in systems capture metadata, timestamps, and other evidence that law enforcement can use, something vigilante videos often lack. Roblox also raised a concern that some predator hunter creators delay or withhold evidence in order to release the dramatic content first, which the company says undermines real investigations. Kaufman also pointed out that Roblox is continuing to invest heavily in safety. Recent measures include age estimation features for private chats, stronger parental controls, and long-standing filters that block personal information, suspicious links, and explicit imagery. In his words, no system will ever be perfect, but Roblox insists it has implemented rigorous safeguards and is constantly improving. For the company, the bottom line is clear. Player safety depends on structured reporting and moderation, not freelance sting operations. Just as Roblox was defending its safety policies, the legal spotlight intensified. On August 14th, Louisiana Attorney General Liz Morel filed a sweeping lawsuit against the company, calling Roblox the perfect place for pedophiles. The suit accuses Roblox of knowingly enabling child sexual exploitation by failing to implement even basic safeguards like strict age verification or parental consent checks. Prosecutors say Roblox not only allowed explicit user-generated content to spread, games with names like Escape to Epstein Island and others with violent or sexualized themes, but also concealed those dangers from parents, while promoting itself as a safe environment for kids. The allegations are stark. Louisiana claims Roblox effectively distributed child sexual abuse material, all while prioritizing user growth, revenue, and profit over safety. The lawsuit goes so far as to argue that Roblox should be legally barred from advertising its safety features as effective until it actually addresses these issues. For state prosecutors, this isn't about glitches in modulation, it's about systemic negligence. The filing also points to real-world consequences. In one Louisiana case, investigators say a predator used voice-changing software to impersonate a teenage girl inside Roblox chat rooms. That suspect was later arrested, but prosecutors argue the incident reflects a deeper problem. Roblox's weak identity safeguards and lack of verification tools leave kids exposed to sophisticated grooming tactics. According to Attorney General Morel, these aren't isolated incidents. They are predictable outcomes of Roblox's current system. Roblox, of course, disputes the claims. The company points to its recent rollout of facial estimation for private chats, expanded parental controls, and its long-standing use of filters to block personal information and explicit content. In a statement, Roblox said it categorically does not knowingly put users at risk, but critics argue these reforms came far too late, only after lawsuits and the public outcry forced the company's hand. If the court sides with Louisiana, Roblox could face injunctions requiring greater transparency, stricter safety standards, and possibly even penalties for deceptive trade practices. And with similar lawsuits already filed in other states, the legal pressure is only beginning to build. As if lawsuits and petitions weren't enough, Roblox is now facing the return of the most recognizable names in predator investigations. Chris Hansen, the former host of To Catch a Predator. On August 15th, Hansen announced that he is working on a documentary focused on Roblox and child exploitation. Given his track record of exposing online predators, his involvement is expected to bring an entirely new level of national attention to the issue. Hansen confirmed on social media that his investigation specifically targets the exploitation of children on the popular gaming platform Roblox. He has reportedly been in direct contact with law enforcement, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, and even with Shilap, the YouTuber banned for his vigilant sting. Shilap has said he has already shared leads, footage, and evidence with Hansen, essentially turning his grassroots campaign into part of a larger professional investigation. This collaboration adds both credibility and visibility to what had previously been scattered user-led efforts. If Hansen's documentary is released, it won't just be an online controversy anymore. It will be a mainstream media event. Observers say that between the Louisiana lawsuit, the 100,000 signature petition, and Hansen's high-profile investigation, Roblox will face more scrutiny than ever before. And under that kind of spotlight, silence from the company's leadership may no longer be an option. The backlash to all of this has been swift and loud. Parents and players have flooded social media demanding for change, with hashtags like Free Slap and Boycott Roblox briefly trending after the YouTuber's ban. Major online creators such as Gideon and Most amplified the outage, lending their platforms to the petition and voicing support for Shilapu's efforts. For many users, this moment feels like a breaking point. Another scandal stacked on top of years of frustration with Roblox's approach to safety. The anger hasn't been limited to just players and parents. California Congressman Locana even launched a parallel petition aiming for 1 million signatures, accusing Roblox of failing to implement adequate safety measures to protect children. Lawmakers across different states are beginning to raise questions about whether Roblox, with its massive under-13 audience, should face stricter regulation or direct government oversight. Critics are pushing for specific reforms, robust age verification, more human moderation rather than relying so heavily on automated systems, and far greater transparency about how reports are handled. Many argue that Roblox's current strategy of silencing whistleblowers while issuing vague corporate reassurances is no longer suitable. Parents have been sharing their own stories online, sometimes detailing close calls where predators contacted their kids on the platform, adding urgency to those reform calls. Roblox, however, maintains its silence. The vigilante stings create more risk than safety, and that official reporting channels remain been the most effective way to address abuse, but the company's refusal to directly address the petition or the mounting allegations has only fueled speculation. Several outlets have noted that Roblox CEO David Baszucki himself has almost stayed entirely silent throughout this controversy, and with the pressure from lawsuits and now the public, that silence is becoming harder to defend. This story is far from over. The petition crossing 100,000 signatures shows just how frustrated the Roblox community has become, and now the company is facing pressure on all fronts. A lawsuit from Louisiana that could inspire others, a national media investigation led by Chris Hansen, and a growing public relations crisis over child safety. Whether David Baszucki himself will address this criticism or whether Roblox's board steps in remains an open question. For now, all eyes are on Roblox's next move. Updates to safety policies, developments in the lawsuit, and any findings from Hansen's documentary could all reshape the conversation in the coming weeks. What's clear is that Roblox is under heavier scrutiny than ever, not just from parents and players, but from politicians, investors, and the media.